Hey guys, Vigrid here, and my frustration with TWoW's like bugginess and lack of playtesting has just absolutely peaked this patch. I can't believe how fucking broken the state of Shaman is right now. I can't believe all the emergency patches and like craziness that has been occurring since this patch came out. And they also made some intentional design decisions that I also thought were highly objectionable as well. And I'll talk about those later. But, this is going to be a tale of 3 specs and 3 bugs, right? Every spec was suffering from an equally ridiculous and insane bug. So the first one I want to talk about is the legacy bug. The legacy bug is the Totem spell hit crit issue. So basically the way it works is fire totems have a base 5% chance to crit, and they don't scale with the shaman spell hit or crit at all. If you're up against a boss, they're just going to miss 17% of the time. Doesn't matter what your spec or gear or anything like that looks like. This has been a long-standing issue. I opened this bug tracker ages ago. I got a green poster officially acknowledging it, Hacksaw. And I'm not like flaming Hacksaw. I'm going to talk a lot of shit about TWoW right now. I don't know if... I'm not saying it's like Hacksaw's fault, guys. He's just the guy who happened to respond to me. Don't fucking shoot the messenger, okay? Anyway, he basically acknowledged the bug report. They're going to investigate it and fix it. That was like 5 months ago. He updated me a month after that. Like, I pinged him a month after that. I'm like, hey, any updates on this? It's been about a month. And he says, we're waiting to get back to class balance discussions. And, at the time I was kind of pissed. I was kind of like, it's a fucking bug fix, not really class balance. I'm not sure why this has to go through class balance to be fixed. That's kind of goofy. Like, it just should be done in a weekly patch. Like, what the fuck? But they wanted to do like a round of class balance changes. So I waited and I waited and I waited. And we had the patch. And we did a round of class balance changes. And they said on the patch notes that they fixed the fire totem spell hit crit issue. I was excited about it in my previous video. And patch day came around and we tested it. And guys, it doesn't do that. It's still the same issue. Is still in the fucking game. Still in the fucking game. So, let me get this straight. And it's immediately obvious that it's still in the game because, people are running around with 20% crit chance. People are running around with, close to spell hit cap. So let me do this against a heroic dummy so you can see the resists, man. Let me just move this real quick. Jesus, can this dummy acquire it as a target? I guess it's passive. Okay, but it's just immediately obvious within a few minutes that you can just tell just by looking at it that this is wrong, right? And yes, I just started to ask myself, did they even playtest this game at all? Did they even playtest the quote unquote bug fix that they did? Did they do it's just, and to actually document it as being fixed in the changelog, and then I get into the game and it's still not fixed. It's just a laughable incompetence. I just can't believe that I'm still dealing with this fucking issue that I reported 5 fucking months ago. Unbelievable. Okay? So that's bug number 1. I can't believe this is still in the game, by the way. Bug number 2. Let's talk about elemental weapons wind fury effect, otherwise known as elemental flurry. So basically, whenever you proc wind fury, it gives you this effect where you increase your movement speed by 10% for 5 seconds. Except that's not what this does. That tooltip is in the game, but it's not what it does. It just does the exact same thing it did in the previous patch, which is the crappy haste buff from the previous patch. They just wanted to do this as a tentative change, but it didn't end up making it into the final patch. I've got a green post verifying this. So Leon actually talked about this. He said, movement speed was never in the changelog, wasn't meant to be added. So this was like a tentative change that they eventually decided against. Okay? And he says, current implementation of Elemental Flurry is the same as 1.17.2. Okay? So, let me get this straight. You had a tentative change. You didn't end up putting it into the game. But the tentative change somehow must have made it into the game because Elemental Flurry was actually causing Flurry, the other talent that increases your attack speed, to not work. So they wouldn't stack with each other, basically. It caused some sort of problem where they wouldn't stack, and it was gimping the DPS of Enhance. And this was fixed in like the most recent hotfix, like a couple days ago. So it was causing an issue where, so a tentative change that you didn't actually want to implement into the patch somehow broke Flurry, but the tooltip for the tentative change is still in the game, still in the talent tree, even though that's not what it does. I have no, there are no words. I can't believe how it is astonishing. It is groundbreaking how fucking insanely you mess this up. I'm like, I don't even know what the QA or development process or what the hell, like, so apparently, like, the changelog is the authority here. The movement speed was never in the changelog. Yeah. Well, you know, the fire totem hit crit scaling bug was in the changelog, and that wasn't fixed either. So what the fuck ever, right? So like, I can't believe. So they got it bricked. Enhancement had its DPS bricked by this insane half implementation of a thing that didn't even make it into the final version of the patch. Wild. And what's also crazy about this bug is that it's extremely easy to notice it if you do any playtesting at all. This is what I mean. They just don't do fucking playtesting. Because, guys, how do I test the new Wind Fury effect, guys? Well, I put Wind Fury weapon on my character and I start right-clicking the dummy. And when I start right-clicking the dummy, I start critting and I get Flurry. And my Wind Fury starts proccing and I get Flurry, Elemental Flurry. And then I notice that they're not stacking with each other. And I'm like, oh, something's bugged. I've broken something. Something's not working. Oh shit. Right? So that's what I mean. Like, there's just zero playtesting. There is zero playtesting going on. That's the conclusion I have to draw from this. That's the only way that this insanely bad bug made it to live servers, okay? This is an absolute fucking joke. Like, it's understandable for bugs to slip past when, you know, it's like people are doing weird things at the same time. Like, there's edge cases, right? This is not an edge case. This is literally equipping a weapon, putting Wind Fury on it, and auto-attacking, bro. Like, there's no excuse. How the fuck did this get into the game? Okay? But we're not done. Bug number three. Something happened with Chain Heal. I don't know what happened to my boy Chain Heal. Something happened. I think he got lobotomized. He's lost 50 IQ because he's no longer a smart heal, okay? I don't know what's going on. Maybe they force-fed him paint chips? I'm not sure. So, Chain Heal got 2 bugs. Bug number 1 wasn't bouncing outside of party, first of all, which is, how the fuck did that even happen? How did that happen? Chain Heal has been bouncing outside of party since it was implemented in the game in 2004 by Kevin Jordan himself, dude. Like, this is crazy. How the fuck did you manage to do that? Okay, first of all. Bug number two. It's not a smart heal anymore. It doesn't smartly prioritize lower health targets. It'll just bounce to the nearest target, the nearest friendly target, if available, right? It's not a smart heal anymore. So, the only intentional change was lowering the spell power coefficient of Chain Heal. And in the process, they somehow managed to gimp chain heals, smart healing, targeting, bouncing capabilities. I don't even know what the fuck. How the fuck did... What the fuck? How the fuck? Again, zero playtesting. Zero playtesting. It would have been incredibly obvious with just a few bits of playtesting that something had gone horribly wrong. Okay? Even without the play, you shouldn't even necessarily need playtesting. It's like changing the spell power coefficient. How did you brick the spell by changing the spell power coefficient? What kind of insane MC Escher stairs parallel universe nonsense did you manage to brick? Did you do to fucking brick Chain Heal's functionality like this? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So my spec is bricked. And then they fixed it. They fixed the party and raid thing. But, you know, we've got confirmation from Hacksaw that it's still bugged. Doesn't work as intended, as we see here. And yeah, what he's alluding to is the fact that the other bug is still in the game, in that it's not fucking... It is not smart healing properly, which is atrocious. It's really atrocious because what that means is basically we don't get to effectively utilize the healing that we do. We don't get to effectively utilize the healing that we do. It basically turns out the coefficient on our heal that was 63% and raised to 107% through bounces, maybe it becomes like effectively an 80% coefficient heal because it's not smart healing on the second bounces anymore, and we end up doing a lot more overhealing, right? So on average, like our average return on like investment is just like very poor for the spell now. It's bad enough that it got nerfed. You know, it got nerfed. Like, we took that on the chin. It is what it is. That's intentional. And, you know, I think it's a sensible nerf. I think it's a reasonable nerf. I don't think they were, like, out of line by doing that. But, like, also nerfing it indirectly with these insane bugs. Like, how the fuck did this even happen? Craziness. And, yeah, next problem, guys. Next problem. Just another case of didn't playtest this shit. We've got a completely unique damage over time interaction here. So, every damage over time spell has no travel time. It just arrives at the target. And the optimal way to play with a damage over time spell is that when it falls off, you put it back on. That works pretty friendly with the vanilla client because the vanilla client can't actually track dot durations natively without add-on support. And even when you get add-on support, often the way the add-on works is that it just reads the combat log, sees when something is applied, and starts a timer, right? So if anything, like any mechanic where it like refreshes, it can't really track that as well. So the problem with this is you're supposed to do optimal DPS as elemental now, you're supposed to refresh the duration on Flame Shock. You're supposed to allow Flame Shock to tick so that your improved Molten Blast talent will do more damage, right? Because it deals damage equal to 60% of the refreshed duration. So more of the refreshed duration means more damage for that odd Molten Blast you cast, right? So the idea is you're supposed to leave it to the last tick to refresh Molten Blast, to do optimal damage. I can't do that in your client, guys. I can't see the duration on Flame Shock natively. This is so bad. You need Super WoW and Cursive specifically to track this and to make this DPS rotation work. If you do not have that, it's just going to be impossible to see when to cast your Molten Blast. I mean, so PFUI can keep track of it right now, but as soon as I refresh it, it's just like, I give up, dude. I don't know what the duration is anymore. I'm still displaying the icon because I can still see that the debuff is on the target, but I don't know the duration, right? You need cursive and super wow specifically to track the duration of Molten Blast. Again, 2 minutes of playtesting. This becomes obvious. 2 minutes of playtesting. Where's the playtesting? Where's the playtesting, guys? Like, you can't put this in the game with the 1.12. Like, I'm sorry, you can't do like a dot refresh mechanic like this in the 1.12 version of the game. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense. And this idiotic Fire Shaman build is also crazy overperforming right now. It is crazy overperforming. With this elemental weapons thing that gives you increases the fire damage of your spells, and like just getting this other stuff in like elemental, this 24-27 kind of build. This build is fucking stupid and outcompetes the significantly more complex conventional elemental spec. So with conventional elemental, I am doing like 750 to like 800 at the dummy. With this Fire Shaman spec, I'm doing like 950. It's like a good 150 DPS more. And that's without Curse of Elements or improved Scorch. It's going to get even worse with raid buffs and debuffs. It's going to mog it. And I was doing the Fire Shaman rotation with a bunch of nature damage enchants. I got nature damage here. Fucking nature damage on my rings and necklace and shit. Like, and just to be fair, I didn't use True Band of Sulphurous. I used a different ring. In the comparison, 150 DPS more. 150 DPS more. Okay? The Brain Dead spec, where you simply apply Flame Shock and spam Molten Blast over and 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 over again until your finger falls off. This is outcompeting the elemental alternative, where it's significantly more complex, where you got 2 nukes on cooldowns. You've got Chain Lightning and Earthquake, which are DPS boosts to use on cooldown. It's intended to use on cooldown, even single target. It's a DPS boost. You've got 2 cooldown nukes. You've got the dot. You've got to sparingly use Molten Blast to benefit from improved Molten Blast and like refresh the dot, but allow yourself to do more Lightning Bolt filler because Lightning Bolt filler does more damage. So you're intelligently weaving between 5 spells. It's highly complex. There's things competing in the priority, and you do significantly less damage. Makes nobody's going to play conventional elemental over this Fire Shaman spec if they have the choice, right? It's just both easier to execute and stronger performance. Idiotic, stupid. And that speaks to the lack of like playtesting, in my opinion. And you know, the other thing about refreshing this dot with Molten Blast, guys, this has got a cast time and a travel time. Okay, it's not just instant. It won't just like instantly arrive. So like Immolate, for example, has a cast time, has a hard cast time, but at least it doesn't have a travel time. So there's like frequently you will just like have to cast at like, I think you have to cast at pretty much like 4 seconds. Like if you're standing at 30 yards, you'll have to cast at like 4 seconds to land the Molten Blast in time. So I just hit with 1 second left and I started casting at like 5 seconds there. Right? Let's see how tightly I can do this, right? So like it's at 4 seconds. I send the Molten Blast. It fell off. It fell off just before it arrived. 4 seconds. 1.7 second cast. It took like 2.5 to like land there at like 30 yards, guys. Like, it's actually really a pain in the ass. Like I said, not play tested. Not play tested. No way. And now I want to talk about like, also, yeah, this affects all specs. So they made totem range like baseline 30 yards. Cool. Awesome. Cool. One problem, they didn't actually make it 30 yards. I tested this. So, I'm in Fire Shaman spec, which means that my lightning bolt is 30 yard range. So let's check something here. I've just placed the Strength of Earth totem directly in front of this heroic training dummy. Let me get to 30 yards. I'm just under 30 yards from the heroic training dummy. I have lost Strength of Earth. I do not have Strength of Earth on me. Strength of Earth totem is 29 yards away. I can lightning bolt this dummy. It's 30 yards away, dude. I can lightning bolt the dummy. It's 30 yards away. I don't have Storm's Reach. I can lightning bolt the dummy. It's 30 yards. So what is the actual range on totems? It's 27 yards. If it's under 27 yards, I'm in totem range. If I go to 27 yards, I lose Strength of Earth. It's gone. Amazing. Amazing. Incredible. Simply incredible. Testing. Where is the testing? Where's the testing, guys? Where's the testing? Now, I don't know if Tremor is behaving this way as well, because it's like really hard to test Tremor. I don't know. I'd have to get like a Warlock to like get a Succubus to charm me. I can't be fucked. Get fucked. I don't care anymore. I'm sick of doing QA work for this fucking server. Okay? It's a joke. What else? Oh yeah, the Purge change. The Purge change is insanely idiotic. And again, running theme, not play tested. So the problem with this Purge change, okay, let me say at the outset. I know I'm gonna get some like people who are gonna be like, Purge was OP in PvP. I agree. Okay, I agree. I'm not like a one-eyed shaman main, okay? I understand. Purge is oppressive. Purge is problematic. Spammable offensive and defensive dispels in general are problematic. There are entire categories of spells that are fucking garbage, fucking worthless in PvP, and never will be good until spammable dispels are like gotten rid of. Spammable dispels are a problem. Let me be clear. This was the wrong way to go about it. Okay? They just slapped an 8-second cooldown on Purge. They did no redesign to the way that dispels prioritize on targets. They did no changes to make certain spells undispellable or get dispel resistance. They made no other changes to to increase the cooldown of other offensive or defensive dispels on other classes. They made no changes to the cooldowns, durations, or potency of any common magic effects that are utilized in PvP. They just slapped an 8-second cooldown on Purge unilaterally, made no other changes to the metagame around magical effects and dispelling magical effects at all, and called it a fucking day. It's a fucking joke, guys. And it feels so bad to play right now. The reason it feels so fucking bad to play is because, okay, so it has a cooldown now. That means I have to be discriminate. That means I have to be selective about what I purge and what I allow to stay on my targets, right? Cool, I don't have a problem with that. Like, let's make Purge more skill expressive. I don't have a problem with that. That makes sense, right? The problem is, there's enough magical effects on targets in PvP that it basically becomes a crapshoot. So let's say I have a key magical effect I want to purge off a target, right? And I'm waiting for this magical effect to come down so I can press Purge and get rid of it. All right? I'm waiting. I'm sitting there. I'm holding onto my Purge cooldown. I see the Ice Barrier. I see the Hand of Freedom. I see the Hand of Protection. I go to purge it. There's 8 magical effects on the target. It purges their Noggin Fogger and a scroll buff. And they still have the effect, and I get fucked and I lose. They don't play the game. They don't play PvP. You can't do this, man. It doesn't work. You can't do, like, maybe if you gave Purge like a 15-second cooldown, but it got rid of every magical effect. You know, something like, I don't know. Something, there are a number of changes that could have worked, but this doesn't work. This is just an RNG crapshoot. Like, either I purged the thing that I was holding the Purge for and really needed to get purged, or I get unlucky and I'm just completely fucked and I lose the game to RNG. Trash. Trash fucking change. Trash fucking change. And I agree, like, offensive dispels are omnipresent. Like, spammable offensive dispels are a problem. Purge needed something around Purge, or the magical dispel metagame did need to change, but this is not it. Okay, this is not it. This is idiotic. This is stupid. Okay? Purge, man. And, you know, I also don't like the change to Either Storm either. I don't like the change to Either Storm because everybody knows Either Storm is ass in PvE. It's super inconsistent. We have no other pushback talent for Ellie. Like, the lack of pushback for Ellie in PvE really sucks, both for leveling, raiding, dungeoning, whatever, you name it. It sucks, alright? And it's pretty deep in the tree too, so you don't even have access to it like early on, so you're really struggling to deal with pushback very early on in your journey, when like a ton of other classes get pushback protection in like the first 2 tiers of talents, by the way. So, let me get this straight. It's trash for PvE. You had to nerf it for PvP. It's too strong in PvP, according to you guys. Fine. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, it is. Then fucking rework it. Alright? If it's absolutely useless for PvE, and it's only taken in PvP builds, and you're not even going to allow it to function in PvP builds, then rework it. Okay? It is so embarrassing that the first change that Shaman sees, that Elemental Shaman sees to its spell pushback problems that it's had since 1.12 vanilla, the very first change they see to any fucking pushback talent is to just straight up nerf Either Storm. No other changes. Crazy. Crazy to me. Crazy. Pushback has been plaguing this class since forever in PvE. Absolutely wild. I don't know, man. Yeah, like, it's such a shame, like, because there's lots of cool shit about this patch, man. Like, the revamped Molten Core, it's really cool. The Dragon Maw retreat, that shit is sick. But man, there's just some really, like, just playtest your game. I don't know what else to say. Just playtest your fucking game. It's embarrassing playing this shit. It's embarrassing doing QA work for you guys on the first week of the patch. It's embarrassing to have a long-running bug for half a year that bricks the performance of Elemental Shaman. Oh, boys. I don't know, man. I might just fuck off and play Epoch. Oh, I'm done. I'm fucked.